a king arrives in town, you'd expect to see him don a crown, with a red carpet underlaid and sandwiched by a security parade. These are typical connotations, cliches and associations. But what do you picture in your mind when you hear the word king? Do you think of the wealth and the excess told in the weeks of the field of the cloth of gold? Or trumpets, bells and shouts of glee that accompany the entry of Prince Ali? Perhaps to be a king, you don't need to have wealth, just the boldness of Napoleon who crowned himself. Maybe mere merriment's the thing to bring, like the revelling, partying king of bling. Now I've got a tale that I want to relate, which is all about a king so great. However, he didn't fit the hype of our pompous kingly stereotype. Royal robes he did not wear, a lavish party he didn't prepare, horses he did not recruit, there was no band of lyre and flute. This king was different. Yes, he didn't arrive how we might guess. But out of all kings ever listed, he's the most important that ever existed. So, let's go back 2,000 years ago to a young man who we'll call Joe. For quite a few years now, since childhood, Joe had been working as a carpenter of wood. He was from Bethlehem, but right now he lived in the north in a different town. In Nazareth, every day was the same. This town didn't have any claim to fame. Now Joe was taking things slow, laying kind of low, going with the to and the fro of life. But the thing that made him glow was Mary, his soon-to-be wife. Mary was a girl who at this stage was only about 14 or 15 in age. Though she was young, every day she poured out her praise to the Lord, whom she adored. One day she was going about her chores indoors as she ordered the stocks and the stores. Then something happened that she couldn't have foreseen when an angel arrived at the scene.
Don't be wary, just listen up, Mary. I have some important news that's far from grievous. You will have a baby boy whose name will be...
Jesus!
Emmanuel, God with us. He knows us and he sees us. The God above come down to earth. His name is...
Jesus!
He won't be born in affluence or anywhere prestigious. Humility and serving is the way of our...
Jesus!
He's not what we imagined, yeah. He doesn't come to please us. He is here to save the world. His name is...
Jesus!
Not only that, but through his power he heals us and he frees us. Saved, healed, delivered, yeah. There's no one like...
Jesus!
That's right, he's here to save us all. His plan is pretty seamless. The devil doesn't stand a chance when in walks...
Jesus!
There's more power in his pinky than the reign of all 12 Caesars. He is the Messiah, and his name is...
Jesus!
That sounds a little scary, said the trembling Mary. I feel lightheaded, I'm not even wedded. But if this is the Lord's will for me to carry his son, then let it be done, said Mary. She knew who the next person was who had to know, so she ran through the streets to go and tell Joe. At first, he took it as a bit of a blow. I took biology class, he said, I know how this works. Let's give this marriage a pass before the neighbor smirks. But that night, when Joe settled down to sleep, the angel of the Lord began to speak.
Yo, Joe. Well, what do you know? It turns out Mary was right, so don't put up a fight. I have some important news that's far from grievous. You will have a baby boy whose name will be...
Jesus!
Emmanuel, God with us. He knows us and he sees us. The God above come down to earth. His name is...
Jesus!
He won't be born in affluence or anywhere prestigious. Humility and serving is the way of our...
Jesus!
He's not what we imagined, yeah. He doesn't come to please us. He is here to save the world. His name is...
Jesus!
Not only that, but through his power, he heals us and he frees us. Saved, healed, delivered, yeah. There's no one like...
Jesus!
That's right, he's here to save us all. His plan is pretty seamless. The devil doesn't stand a chance when in walks
Jesus.
There's more power in his pinky than the reign of 12 Caesars. He is the Messiah, and his name is
Jesus.
9 months later, an announcement was made by Caesar Augustus. This is what was relayed.
Hear ye, hear ye. I have a very important decree. We must keep all our records straight, all in line and all up to date. So, I'm announcing a census so we can make sense of and understand who lives in this land. Well, to be completely transparent, I'm doing this to make apparent all who are lax with paying their tax. So, if that's not you, then you can relax. But if you're not true, then watch your backs, because I'll find out your tricks and hacks. You have to travel to where you were born. Get up, go now, don't look so forlorn. You have no choice, there's no yay or nay. So get on the road now and don't delay. Alright, that's all from me today.
So Joe and Mary had to go on a journey. They packed up their things and set off nice and early. Mary was just about ready to pop, but there really was no time to stop. When they finally arrived at their location, they realised this was not a nice vacation. There wasn't anywhere for them to stay. So they got together and began to pray. Soon they found an innkeeper who was kind. He had no rooms, but he did at least find some room with the animals, so at least they were able to sit down and get some rest, even though it was a stable. Joe, said Mary, I'm afraid I do fear that the time to have this baby is very, very near. Surrounded by hay, this is far from ideal, but a ticking time bomb is how I feel. She was right, because shortly Jesus was born, not in a place that was comfy and warm, but in a stable, dirty and smelly and mucky, itchy and scratchy and altogether yucky. Yes, God was born in the town of Bethlehem. There wasn't a film set with lights and cameramen. He didn't even have a nice pillow to lay his head. The thing that they had to use as a bed was a manger, the place where the animals were fed.
91, 92, 93, 94. They're almost in the fold now, just a few more. 95, 96, 97, 98. Come on, hurry up, come on through the gate. 99, 100. That's all of the sheep. At least this time we didn't fall asleep. The shepherds spent their night keeping watch over the flock. It was a tough job, long hours sitting on a rock. Day and night they worked hard to earn their keep. This was their lifestyle and they loved their sheep. However, this night was far from normal. Something happened, surprising and a little bit choral. They couldn't have predicted or imagined or expected the great proclamation that to them was presented. The shepherds' eyes had just adjusted to the night, but then they were blinded by a very bright light. That's right, it was an angel bringing more good news. The shepherds shook from their head to their shoes. Don't fear, said the angel, all this time you have waited. But a baby boy has been born in the town of David. The one that has been on your lips for years around this fire is wrapped in cloth and in a manger, and he is the Messiah. Then in the sky appeared the heavenly host. They all joined together and began to boast about the glory of God in the highest heaven and the peace that extended to all of the brethren. By the time the shepherds had recovered from their shock, they looked at each other and began to take stock. Amidst all the music and singing and buzz, how special that this was revealed to us. So they ran to the streets, neglecting all their sheep. They sprinted down the steep hill, over the rocks they leaped. Finally, they managed to reach the stable. From the buzz, they were all a little unstable. As they gazed upon the baby, joy rose up inside. This joy was not something they could easily hide. So they left that place with shouts of praise. Their joy and elation went on for days. With everyone they saw, they began to infuse all about this very good news.
Now we're going to a land far away to some very wise men. Here's what they have to say.
We're a group of academics who reside in the East. We're accomplished in astrology, to say the least, learning more and more after those who went before. As the years have gone by, our knowledge has increased. To summarise, we look with our eyes to the skies. We analyse and recognise the patterns that arise. We compare what amounts with what's in our accounts. It comes as no surprise. We are very, very wise. One night, we saw a very bright star. So we looked in our books and we said, "Aha! This can mean one thing. There must be a king. Let's go and find him, this king of afar." We set off, following this star so bright, and arrived at the place that we thought must be right. At the end of the road was the royal abode. Surely the king must be at this site. We knocked on the door and we went inside. Is this the place where we can find the newborn king? We've come to bring him gifts and gold and more beside.
So who did the wise men find here? It can't have been Jesus, that was clear. He was in a stable tucked up in a manger, so had the wise men walked into danger? The person they met was not who they sought. It was King Herod. Here's what he thought.
I'm the king of this place, in case you didn't know. I'm the top dog here. All others are below. So be careful how you act, because if I disapprove, I won't have any trouble making sure you are removed. Oh, by the way, do you like my palace? I've got riches here, like this silver chalice. I love having guests to show off what I own, from the food and the drink to my glorious throne. So I was delighted when during my feast, some guests turned up all the way from the east. The subject they brought up was my favourite thing. They were talking about wanting to worship the king. However, I soon became disturbed, you see. The king they were discussing didn't seem to be me. And I have a problem with that. There's no room for more kings in what I've created, no matter how special or long awaited. I want to pay this new king a personal visit, so that the feelings I have I could, let's say, exhibit. But these magi haven't come back with any directions of where I can find him to show my affections. I have this feeling they're not coming at all, so it seems I'll have to make a difficult call. There's no room for more kings in this land. I must make sure I have the upper hand. So I will crush all baby boys in the locality. I do apologize for the brutality, but I am the king, and this one thing alone will ensure that nobody takes my throne.
Oh no, this story is descending into what looks like a very bad ending. But do not worry, because God is moving. He will stop the evil that is looming. The wise men soon went and found the Saviour, and they placed their gifts at the foot of the manger. Then in a dream, God gave them a warning not to go back to Herod in the morning. God also gave a dream to Joe in the night that they had to get up and they had to take flight to protect Jesus from the harm in the land. Yes, nothing stops what God has planned. So that's my account of the story, but of course you can read it in the Bible, the OG source. Now that we've learned about the story of God, we must consider how we will respond.
King Herod responded out of fear. He made all the babies in the land disappear. Blinded by power, he chose to fight, instead of stop, listen, and do what was right. Maybe we respond like the wise men, who studied the scriptures again and again, so when the time came, they knew what to do. They followed the star to find what was true. The shepherds were so moved by what they had seen that it moved them to go out and recount the whole scene. They didn't keep this good news just for themselves, but they spread it around all the streets and the towns. Perhaps we respond like Mary as she pondered these things in her heart of which she was part. All throughout this story, back to the Annunciation, she recognized the gravity of the situation. that the babe in her arms marks time for salvation, the most important time since the dawn of creation. All of these people were caught up in history, small but significant parts of his story. And still today, the story goes on. God is still working. He is not done. You might think you're the main character of your narrative. The world says you do you as an imperative. But to follow Jesus is to be part of his story, giving your whole self and your life all for his glory. What a wonderful thing is this good news. A Saviour, a baby who is King of the Jews. Not just for the Jews, but he came for us all. Through his life and death, we see that he calls us all to follow him, to be cleansed from our sin and step into our freedom, live life in his kingdom. The best way to respond is just to run into his arms as a daughter or a son and remain there, following him each day. So how do we respond? We just start.